What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment, IG, TikTok, bottom of the video, and we're just gonna hop right into it. So today we were doing day 3 of the Tupac trial breakdown. Should be all caught up tomorrow because day 6 is tomorrow. Just gotta do day 4 left, and day 3 and 4 are shorter than the first 2 days. So this was the shortest day of them all, 3 hours. So this one won't be as long as usual, as I've already stated. So let's get into it. So first witness they called up was a Wade Lee. He was a FBI special agent at the time. He had also interviewed Keefe at a certain time, so that's also why. So one interesting kid, I will say today I think was a win for the defense in certain ways. Just because as I'm about to talk about it, this FBI agent Wade Lee, he exposed a lot about Reggie Wright Jr. So the first thing he did with Reggie Wright was that he handled the north side of Compton as far as drugs.
And then does he tell you what his role is in the south side part of Compton as it relates to drug trafficking?
When you say he, you're referring to
Mr. Davis, sorry.
That Mr. Davis had that side of Compton handled as far as the drugs.
And did he talk to you about who handled the north side of Compton?
Yes, he did. It was an individual who was a former Compton PD officer by the name of Reggie Wright Jr.
Then he said Suge was in control first, and then Reggie took over after Suge was arrested.
To start Death Row Records.
And he also explains Marion Suge Knight's role and his connection to the Blood gang members.
Yes, he did. He said that Marion Knight had gained control of the North Compton drug trade, and that he was associated with a bunch of the Blood Street gang members, like the Mob Pyrus and such. And they were, the Knight was getting them in and out getting them out of jail, bailing them out, and they would cooperate with Knight.
And basically, when Knight goes to prison, he tells you Reggie Wright kind of takes over.
Yeah, Reggie Wright Jr. took over the organization after Suge Knight was arrested.
He also sold out of an auto shop called Untouchable. He had named a couple other guys as well. Reggie Wright sold out the auto shop.
He provides information, or at least asserts that Reggie Wright Jr. is distributing drugs out of a particular location, and even names some people that are helping with that.
Yes, he stated that Reggie Wright Jr. Had a drug distribution location, an auto body shop called Untouchables, that was located at the corner of Alondra and Washington in the city of Compton. The shop was owned by an individual by the name of Melvin Hurd. And then a guy by the name of G. Ray and Jim helped distribute cocaine from the shop.
He also mentions some people that work for Reggie Wright Jr. and assisting in the cocaine distribution.
Yes, he stated that Reggie Wright Jr. had an individual by the name of Mob James, who was a member of the Mob Pyru street gang, individual named Flip, who distributed out of a shop location on Compton Boulevard, and Harris. There was an individual known as Buntry. But we at the time we wrote it out as Bump Tree, but we believe that actually was an individual known as Buntry-Al or
Alton McDonald?
Yes.
Buntry, B-U-N-T-R-Y?
Yes, Alton McDonald, who was the brother of Mob James, which is James McDonald. Also another individual named Trayvon Lane, who was a Mob Pirate gang member, and then Kevin Woods.
And then another point where Keefe, a lot of this he has, has been going through tapes and interviews and things where he's basically admitting to the murder of Tupac. But at one of these interviews, he did deny involvement. He suggested that the Compton police or that Reggie Wright Jr.
The attack, Mr. Davis, Orlando Anderson, and their girlfriends went back up to their hotel room at the Excalibur Hotel, and he said that was it. They didn't have any involvement. They stayed in the room the rest of the night.
tells you that the room was in Anderson's name.
Yeah, the room was in Anderson's name. That they'd driven up to Vegas from the LA area in a Land Cruiser, and that they had some other associates: Corey Edwards, Kevin Davis, Terry Brown, aka Bubble Up.
These guys were, I forgot to preface this first. They were interviewing him about the Biggie situation. Most of this day is really talking about a lot about the connections between the Tupac and Biggie situation. That was most of Wade Lee's testimony. Reason, if you haven't understand why I say this is those show that it's kind of a win for the defense, is because the defense has been trying to paint this picture that Reggie Wright Jr. should be, should have been somebody who was investigated further. I mean, they talked about him with the whole Biggie situation, but in the Tupac situation, they said he's somebody who should have been investigated more. And I think by them showing the bad side to Reggie Wright, because we had known they had put out his criminal history the day before, but they hadn't spoke about how connected to the illegal stuff he was, and all this showed that. The next person they brought up was a Darren Dupree. Darren Dupree was a Los Angeles police detective that he actually was on a task force to help solve the big case in that started in '06. And the reason this task force even started is because Biggie's mom filed a lawsuit against LAPD because they were alleging that the police were involved in the death of Biggie.
Used to be employed.
I was a detective for the Los Angeles Police Department.
How long were you with the LAPD?
33 and a half years.
And when did you start?
In 1990.
And through the majority of your career, what kind of crimes did you focus on?
Homicides, gang homicides.
I'm going to direct your attention to approximately 2006. Were you asked to be part of a task force related to the Christopher Wallace murder?
Yes, I was.
And can you describe that task force for us?
Robbery homicide specials, Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, FBI, ATF, and DEA were all a part of the task force.
And was there a precipitating event that caused the 2006 task force to be formed?
Yeah, Christopher Wallace's mother filed a lawsuit against the Los Angeles Police Department.
And what was the allegation in the lawsuit?
That there was police officer involvement in his death.
LA police officer involvement?
Yes.
Another interesting thing to Keefe, he said they started the Biggie investigation with Keefe for the simple fact of the black Impala that was used.
Of the defendant.
Is he wearing a jacket or no jacket? No jacket.
No jacket.
So reflected.
How is it that, how is it that you target Mr. Davis?
The vehicle used in the Christopher Wallace murder was a Impala. Mr. Davis had an Impala, and they had impounded it early on in the investigation. So we started with him.
Next clip, we have a kind of, not even kind of, we have not a confession, but I guess a brag, I guess you could say at this point, about the Tupac thing. He said during the interview, Darren Dupree, they were interviewing him obviously about the Biggie, as I stated before, but he said, "Nah, I wasn't involved in this one. We did the other one."
Do you ask Mr. Davis about his involvement in the Biggie Smalls murder?
Yes.
And what is his response?
At that time, he said, no, we didn't have anything to do with that.
And when he said we didn't have anything to do with that one, did that trigger anything in your mind as to what he was saying?
When I recall, yes, we were like, that one, what do you mean? And then he said, we did the other.
He said we did the other one. And so at that point, what did you think he was talking about?
Me personally, the only other one was Tupac. But we had nothing, we didn't think he was, we were talking about Christopher Wallace. We didn't ask him any questions about Tupac. He offered that on his own.
So, the other one, was suspected to be Tupac just because big rappers die. The other one, it was only really like two at the time of the biggest rappers in the world just died. You get it. Darren Dupree showed that he is that they had it was a white cat. They admitted it was a white caddy, 40 cal, and they had signed Keefe D up as a confidential informant.
with Mr. Knight
And did he tell you what kind of vehicle he was in?
in a white Cadillac,
Did he tell you what kind of gun was used?
a 40 cal Glock.
And did he tell you after the shooting where the car went? If you recall. If you don't recall.
I don't recall.
After receiving this information in March of 2009, does the task force sign Mr. Davis up as a confidential informant?
Yes.
And once you sign him up as a confidential informant, what is it that you want to do with Mr. Davis?
Figure out ways to see if he's telling the truth about his story about what happened.
He really, real life, could have probably got away with this with everything he's done, just because he wouldn't. But he wouldn't shut up, so they had to get him. Talk about the Biggie thing real quick. If you are, if you're not too deep in the streets, they have suspected for a while. They know who killed Biggie. The person who's been most connected to it is Wardell Poochie Faust, who was a MOB Pyru member. They saying that he was held out to do it by Suge Knight. They say he contacted him through a girlfriend. So that's who they rumored the Biggie thing is. So that's really, in all honesty, I don't think Keefe D had anything to do with the Biggie situation. I know they have put out there was some type of money dispute, but no, I don't. I think because now that we know all the connections with Puffy and the Southside Compton Christian thing and that sort, I don't think he would have did that. I don't think that would have been a smart business move. Yeah, so I do think it's very interesting they're trying to I mean, I get why they're doing the Biggie thing because he talked in interviews and gave clues about the Tupac thing and just basically, a very police involved interview can be helpful for either prosecution or the defense. But I don't think I've ever seen it like that where they're basically, telling them that, we were investigating you for this murder, but we kind of you kind of admitted to another murder and you didn't do this one, and we're gonna you still bring that up and try. I don't think I've ever seen that one before, but yeah, I mean that's day three. Day three, I think, like I said, was more of a win for the defense. I don't think the prosecution sold any further besides him telling on himself. But that's all I gotta say though. Like, share, subscribe, comment. IG, TikTok, bottom video, and we up.